This is the technology that founded our entire telephone system. It's the cup and string telephone. This end has been rigged by our soundman Darren to mimic placing it to your ear with a microphone. I'm going back 30 meters to show you how well it works. Can you hear me?
I can.
Excellent. Taut, those vibrations travel to the cup at the other end. That cup also acts like a diaphragm.
Hi, Kinder. Wow. So that's how we have the technology of telephones. It all started with something similar to a cup, and a string. That's interesting. And I have some friends here that are going to tell us a little bit more about the history of the telephone.
The word hello is used by billions of people all over the world when they answer a telephone. The telephone was invented in 1876, but it did not look like the phones you use today. However, they have always been used for the same purpose, to communicate with another person in another place. The way people communicated with each other before the telephone was invented was much slower. Writing letters was one way that people got messages to each other, but a letter might take days or even weeks to arrive. If something happened on one side of the United States, people on the other side may not hear about it for several days or even longer. In the 1800s, an invention called the telegraph sent signals across a wire to get messages to other people. The signals were called Morse code. Have you and your friends ever made up secret codes for fun as a way to communicate with each other? Well, that's kind of like Morse code. Once the messages in Morse code were received, they were then translated into words and the message was able to be read. Back then, there were no cordless devices, no satellites, and no cell towers. Texting certainly did not exist, and there was no internet. People lived within a much smaller world. For the most part, they only communicated with their neighbors and other people who lived in their town. Once the telephone was invented, people could get information from further away much quicker. For example, someone in New York could speak with someone in California instantly. So, who was the person that brought us the incredible invention of the telephone? His name was Alexander Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell was born March 3rd, 1847 in Edinburgh, Scotland. Bell's experiments with sound led him to the idea of sending voice signals down a telegraph wire. At that point, those wires were only being used to send Morse code. The idea of the telephone came to him in 1874. 2 years later, using this new invention, Bell called his assistant who was in a different room. He said, "Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you." Those words were the first words transmitted electronically over wires. Can you imagine how amazing it must have been to hear someone speak through a machine? In August of 1876, 5 miles of telegraph lines were used by 2 telegraph offices to conduct the world's first phone call.
How it started, like with our friend Alexander Graham Bell, and what it looks like today with our cell phones. That's right. There's no wires here. It's all signals. And friends, a video down here that shows all the different types of telephones from the beginning to the end. And what I'd like for you to do is after you watch that video down here, I want you to take a piece of paper, fold it in half, and I want you to draw a line down the middle, just like that. And on this side, I put the word old, and on this side, we put the word new. Friends, what you're going to do is you're going to draw one example of the telephone, one of the older examples of the telephone here, and one of the newer ones here. You can do that by watching that video down here that shows how it changed, what it looked like over time. I can't wait to see your drawings, friends. Bye.